1, 2, 3, My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does she really wanna, but can't stand to see me walk out the door?
Welcome everybody. Thanks for being here.
Don't try to fight the feeling, cause the thought alone is killing me right now. Thank God for mom and dad for sticking together, cause we don't know how. You think you got it, oh, you think you got it, but got it, just don't get it till there's nothing at all. We get together, oh, we get together, but separate's always better when there's feelings involved. If what they say is nothing is forever, then what makes love the exception? So why are we so in denial when we know we're not happy here? Y'all don't wanna hear me, you just wanna dance. Don't want to meet your daddy. Just want you in my caddy. Don't want to meet your mama. Just want to make you come. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. Hey, all right now, fellas. Yeah. Now what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. I can't hear you. I say what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. All right. Okay, now ladies. Now we gonna break this thing down in just a few seconds. Now don't have me break this thing down for nothing. Now I wanna see y'all on y'all baddest behavior. Lend me some sugar. I am your neighbor. Here we go. Shake it, 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 shake it like a Polaroid picture. Hey, shake it, 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 sugar, shake it like a Polaroid picture. Now all Beyonce's and Lucy Lou's and baby dolls, get on the floor. Get on the floor like a Polaroid picture. Sugar, shake it, you know what to shake it. Sugar, shake it, shake it, sugar, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Welcome everyone. It is so nice to see so many familiar faces, students, old and current and new, and faculty. Amazing to have you all here for our first ever LPS Oakland Hour of Code. It might even be the first LPS Hour of Code. So again, Oakland's really getting it going. I'm loving what I'm seeing in the chat. Feel free to put your reactions there. And it's just, like I said, I can't thank you enough for being here. We're gonna start off with a quick video, just kind of framing our day. And the big theme here is anybody can learn to code. Let's watch.
Here we are, 2013. We all depend on technology to communicate, to bank, and none of us know how to read and write code.
The first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
You're just trying to make something, trying to transfer something from your mind to the computer or to a tablet it's an experience.
The whole limit in the system is just that there just aren't enough people who are trained and have these skills today.
The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You know, you're going to look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else.
Great coders are today's rock stars. That's it.
All right. So hopefully you saw some familiar faces, or maybe not familiar faces, or people you didn't even know were connected to code. Fun fact, Chris Bosch, yeah, major in computer science, NBA champion. Anyways, welcome again, everyone. If you're just joining us, we just started, so you haven't missed too much. Let me just make sure everything is all good here in the Google Slides world. Okay, so welcome again. It's the first ever LPS and LPS Oakland Hour of Code. For the next hour, you will hear from two amazing guest speakers from the Bay Area, from Oakland, who code for a living. You will learn to code or go even deeper in code. So whether you've taken my class in the past, or you're taking it right now, or you've never even thought about taking a computer science class, you're in the right place. Again, anybody can learn to code, which is great. And, you know, specifically, we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence a little bit, a hot topic in today's world, and also using computer science for good, because it's one thing just to learn something because it's cool, but also it's kind of nice to be able to help people too, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about, and you're going to be creating and having some fun. So totally different. If you're in my math class, this is totally different than that even. As much as we try to have fun in math, this is going to be even more fun, trust me. So who's in the room, or who's in the Zoom? I got a quick poll question for you, which is, how much experience do you have with coding or computer science? So no experience, a little experience, a lot of experience. And some of y'all were we already asked this question to some of you. Some of you are very modest. If you've taken my class in the past, or if you've taken AP computer science, you have a lot of experience. So some of y'all might say a little, but all right, we got 21 of 22 people voted. Maybe there's that. Okay, we got that last person there. Great. So let me show you the results real quick. So we got a mix, right? So if you're someone out there who's like, oh man, coding, it looks kind of intimidating. You're here among friends who both have no experience, a little experience, and maybe you'll even learn from some of those folks with a lot of experience. So that's great. Now, one more question for you. This one you can answer in the chat, and I believe I've made it so you can chat anyone. Yep, so make sure you change that to everyone in the meeting. When you hear code or computer science, what do you think of? You should be able to just write your answers in the chat there. Hacking, nice. How computers work. Apps, the alphabet of computers, 0 and 1, nice, Jenny B. Love that. Programs and data. These are all great answers. I love it. Bits, bytes, some more zeros and ones, commands, code.org, programming, numbers, hard. Real. It can be hard. It can also be fun. We'll see. Overall, hours on the computer. hopefully good hours. And you can always take a break. Numbers, yeah, sentences I don't understand. That's okay. Maybe you'll understand them better today. Creating apps. I think of a lot of green, zeros, and ones. Nice. Websites, algorithms. Love that, Marbelli. Algorithms. Binary code. Nice. Those are some great answers, folks. So again, just some things that you're thinking about. I love that. So we're gonna get into coding in about we're gonna have 10 or 15 minutes though to hear from two people who make their living doing code, and they both have amazing stories. So we have Andrew Lomax, who is a software engineer at a company called Nava, and he'll tell you a little bit more about what Nava does. And then we have Luciano Arango, who is a CTO at Persist IQ. So we're going to hear from Andrew first, then Luciano, and I hope you just give them your full undivided attention, and there will be some time for questions at the end. So if you want to write down a question, that would be a great idea too, especially students out there who might be interested in having a job like these folks you're about to hear from. So let's do it. Andrew, you there? You with us?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Hearing you loud and clear. Sounds
great. Yeah, so I'm Andrew Lomax. I am a software engineer at Nava. And I really like that one of the topics is anybody can code, because I do feel like my story is a little non-traditional in how I fell into programming. So I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. Next slide. Okay, so I grew up in a place called Norfolk, Virginia, which is in the southwest part of Virginia. I went to school in Providence, Rhode Island at Brown University, and I studied actually biology there. I did not study computer science. I did maybe 1 or 2 statistics classes that involved programming, and there was some modeling of ecological systems I had to do in college, but really I wrote maybe 100 lines of code over my entire college career. And then in 2010, I moved to Washington, DC. And so here are some of the companies I worked at in Washington, DC. I've been in Oakland for the last 2 years, but I started my career as a data analyst, and I'll talk a little bit about what that is. I spent some time as a data viz developer, also was a web developer, and my current title is software engineer. I had a lot of different titles, but all in all, there are a lot of shared skills between all the things I've done over the last decade. Next slide, please. All right, so my first job was as a data analyst. I worked at a smallish nonprofit in DC called Bread for the City. They provide free food, legal services, medical services, clothing, and training programs to DC residents. So like I said, I graduated with a biology degree, and I had half a mind to get a master's in genetics and maybe get a fancy job at a pharmaceutical company. But I wanted some life experience, so I got a job in a medical clinic that was serving low-income residents in DC. And I found out they had a lot of services. And what you could imagine when people have lots of services is there's a lot of tech that's needed to track who comes in, what type of services are being provided, the workload of people. And so I found that at Bread for the City, they use data for a few reasons. They wanted to track the volume of work. They wanted to understand the needs of the clients that were coming in. So, you know, what is their income situation like? What is their home life? This allowed the managers to craft their services based on the needs of the clients that came in. And ultimately, a big part of nonprofits is finding funding. And so the process of finding funding is convincing people that your nonprofit does work that's worth people donating to or worth the government giving you grants to do. And so as a data analyst, I sort of sat at a position where I could see all the data that came in, and I could put it in a format that I could communicate to either staff or to funders or to external donors what the work we do is, and tell a story about the work that Bread for the City did. Next slide, please. So one of the things about telling a story is like you can put data into a format that's interesting for people to look at. So here are 2 data visualizations that I made early on at Bread for the City. And this was just because I had access to all the data. I was like, well, what could I do with all of this stuff? And you have to imagine back in 2012, data viz was like kind of a newish field. It was expanding. There was new tools that were being developed, and it's not like it is today, but it was kind of fresh. And so I found that having access to all this data, I could put it on a map. I'm a visual learner, and so having a way that I could program something and see the output and make it interesting was a huge motivator to me. Also, I found that staff, when they do all this work and they see all these clients and they do all this strenuous kind of interactions with people who are in really tough situations, they like seeing the impact of their work. And so building dashboards was a way to really engage with the staff and have them be really interested in improving the way that they work. And ultimately, the data is only as good as the software that you have to put the data in. And so what sometimes these data visualizations reveal is gaps in how we're collecting data. And so once people see, for instance, if I made this chart on the bottom left, some of the staff will look at that. I was like, well, that's not right. It doesn't really account for X, Y, and Z. And so what this starts is a conversations about the systems that we're using at the nonprofit, and it allowed people to think more critically about like, okay, what is the software I'm using? How could we improve it? And how could we collect data to better show the work that we do and to better improve our work? And so at the end of the day, my entire software career, like everything that I wanted to do was around wanting to be able to make cool visualizations. Like I learned how to build websites. I learned how to manage databases. I learned how to build forms and front-end tools just so I could get data, so I could put it into a nice chart or any type of chart. But at the end of the day, though, what I found that I enjoyed most wasn't actually the data viz. It was the building of the software and the conversations I had with people on staff that made their jobs a little easier and made our ability to collect information from people better, and to build out services better. So being a data analyst at Bread put me in position to be in conversations where we were talking about if we had new programs. I was in the planning conversations for those programs because they needed software for that. And so I was in those conversations talking about what would the tools look like when we build out a new program, what will we collect, how does the service work, and things like that. So I learned that my actual interest was building out services for people, designing services for people, and designing software to meet the needs of those services. So next slide. Okay, so currently I work at Nava PBC. So Nava is claim to fame is that way back in 2011, 2012, when Obamacare came out, it was a major failure. The software was a failure. Nobody could log in. People couldn't create, couldn't pick healthcare plans. So Nava's claim to fame is that they were part of the group that came in and saved that project and fixed it so that it was a workable solution for Americans. So that's sort of what I'm doing now. We have projects that are around improving how governments service citizens. So right now you can think about public benefit applications. When you're applying for unemployment, when you're applying for SNAP or food benefits, those software systems can sometimes be hard to use or unclear what the government processes are like. And so we build front-end applications for the public to be able to apply for government services. We also have a lot of work around modernizing government systems. And so some of the systems that you interact with are built on top of things that were originally built in the late 80s or early 90s. And so a lot of effort right now is being put into making those government systems modern, putting them into the cloud and making them more resilient with modern software development processes. So that's sort of where I've ended up. I've ended up in building software for people to make people's lives a little bit easier.
Amazing, amazing. If people want to throw up a quick reaction, yep, in the Zoom there, you know, shouting out Andrew, give him some claps, that'd be great. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing your experience. And If you have a question, you don't write it in the chat right now, although you could pre-write it in the chat and get ready to share it just after Luciano presents, because you're probably also going to want to listen closely to his story. And again, I just loved how Andrew kind of mentioned both how we can use data and how it connects to visualization, which I saw our art teacher, Mr. Warnke, nodding his head to, because it definitely connects to like, yeah, the visual parts of our brain, and also how we can use this for good, right? For helping people, for helping the government, for helping people who need food, right? I just love that. So thank you for sharing your story, Andrew. And Warnke, Mr. Warnke, I appreciate you sharing the questions. We do have a tight schedule. We can come back to those questions a little bit. So maybe, Andrew, you can think about your answers. Wow, we hear from our next guest speaker, Luciano Arango. Here you go.
Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Yes, I think so. Okay, awesome. So my format's a little different, but I obviously didn't get the memo on the styling here. I went orange. So I'm Harvard CS. I'll tell you a little bit about the good, impressive things, I guess, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how it all began. So I started a company called Scope AI. I raised a lot of money. It was really successful. I sold it, and I work for the acquiring company today. And I've done a lot of projects that have been featured on news and all these things, which is really cool. But I don't want to have everybody think that. I'll tell you why I don't want you to think about all those things. I want you to think about the other stuff. So I'm an anchor baby. If you guys know what that is, it means my parents were illegals and they had me here in the US so that I could have papers. So my parents were illegal. I was raised in Medellin for most of my life and then in Hollywood, Florida. My dad was missing for 8 years, literally missing, MIA. And I only went to public high schools. And then today my dad's back, and that story requires a whole 9 slides. But my dad's back, my mom and my dad run a little bakery in Colombia. So that's my mom actually in the far right over there. It's a cute little bakery, nothing that impressive. Honestly, I'm covering some of the costs because it doesn't do that well. But that's how it all began. My family there's very, very Colombian, and just brought me here to give me opportunity. And I was lucky to find coding, to be honest. I owe a lot to it. So next slide, please. So instead of talking about coding, I'm going to talk about the NBA and expand the NBA. So sometimes I look at LeBron and I'm like, how hard is it to be LeBron? I mean, it's pretty hard. It's pretty impressive how good he is. It must be very hard. How hard is it to be a regular NBA player? I mean, it's extremely hard. It's so hard. They practice every single day, nonstop. They probably don't really drink. They can't. They have to. They've been in that bubble for that long, practicing nonstop. But when you look at it, you think about it, you're like, okay, well, you don't really think about being an NBA star right away. You think, okay, it requires one step at a time, right? It's one practice here, one practice there. Slowly start building up. You really have to love it, really. If you really want to be a professional, you have to love it. What's stopping people from trying? I mean, a lot of them try. I want to be an NBA player still. I think maybe half of you want to be NBA players. I mean, I know Chip wants to be an NBA player. So what if thousands more were recruited? Thousands, a ton more. Everyone will want to do it even more, right? The players love playing it. People love it. Everybody has a shot at it. So much opportunity and so lucrative. And so I think you guys know where I'm going with this. I think coding is a lot like the NBA. It's hard. I mean, I take a look at the best coders, and yes, let's stay on this one for a little longer. So it's hard, but you can't take a look at the best players. You can't take a look at the entire problem. You got to think about it. It's one step at a time, one coding challenge at a time. There are thousands being recruited. And to be honest, every single programmer I know loves their job. They love coding. They love being a software engineer. People love them. In companies, software engineers are known as divas. They get everything they want: free food, free snacks, free vacations. People really cherish them. Everybody has a shot at it. It's hard, okay, but everybody has a shot to make it. And there's so much opportunity in that field and so lucrative. It really feels like you're part of a team that's doing something super cool. Let's go to the next slide. Let me tell you why you're going to love it. So I'm gonna tell you a quick story about how I fell in love with coding. I was not a coder. I didn't code in high school at all. I was not, I didn't even try. But I took a class in college, and I was having a really hard time. It was extremely difficult. I was honestly so upset. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I went to my teacher and I said, listen, look, this class, honestly, it's whatever. I'm not going to be a coder. But I can't stop thinking about it, the problems. Like, I can't stop thinking about how to solve this problem. And my professor at the time was like, that's the best part. And I was like, what? And they were like, that's the best part. You can never stop thinking about it because you're passionate about it, because you want to solve that puzzle. And that's what you have to almost embrace. You gotta be like, that is the dope thing about it, that you can, that it's hard, that you're nonstop thinking about it, you can't figure it out. So like I put this white puzzle on the right. I mean, obviously it looks really hard, but if you could figure it out, that would be really cool. I mean, everyone would be really impressed, and it would be really fun. So it's about putting pieces together. I do a lot of Googling. I'm a professional Googler, essentially. I try a lot. I put a little quote there from a book. If you can find, if you know what novel that is from, drop it in the comments. But I've had some incredibly painful times where I've been at 3 a.m., no solution to something that I need to submit. But I've had some incredible, amazing times when I solve something that's taken me so long to solve. You have the autonomy. You could be like LeBron if you are. I love it. Someone already got it. You can crush it. If you're LeBron James of coding, you can just go for it and build your own company, set your own pace, build whatever you want. You don't need anybody to do it. But also you can work with a lot of teams. I think the good thing about coding, besides being something that's autonomous, is that everybody's so amazing and nice. I don't know if you guys know about open source. It's a fascinating thing about coding. So open source, so everybody just knows this, and you should Google this afterwards. It's code that's given out for free. People write code and they give it for free. It's like starting an essay and you can like legit copy parts of other people's essay, and that's totally allowed. And people do that all the time. And so open source is a bunch of code and projects that are already built, pre-built for you, that you can build on top of. Everybody wants you to help code, and it wants to help you code. This special hour here is built for you to code. So it's almost like you really become a celebrity in your own mind when you become a coder. Google wants you to code, of course. Obama wants you to code, across everything. So it really is, to me, like if you really look at it as being something that's difficult, like if you think about LeBron, I don't know how much LeBron enjoys practice at 5 a.m. when he's running sprints. But I think that, I know there's a video of Obama talking about coding, Jim. So I think that what you need to do is you need to embrace the challenge, and you need to think like my professor thought, and think that's the fun part. It's hard, but that's why it's amazing. That's why when you finally nail it, you're going to be so celebrated. It's gonna be so amazing that you can do anything you want. And you're gonna be able to enjoy having that puzzle. If you had that puzzle on the right finished in your room, I walk into your house, I'd be like, wow, respect. That's a hard puzzle to put together. And that's the same way I feel about LeBron. That's the same way people are going to feel about you once you finish today's hour of code.
Amazing. Again, let's snap it up or throw some reactions up. Thank you, Luciano, and some great themes there. Embrace the challenge. I love that. So we're gonna get to coding in just a little bit, folks. So stick with me. I know it's the hour of code, not the half hour of code. We're gonna get to the coding, but I'm sure you might have some really good questions for Luciano and Andrew. So I believe Mr. Warnke put some questions in the chat. We can answer those, but I just want to really encourage the students out there. Yeah, write a question you have in the chat for our guest speakers, something you're wondering about. Yeah, that's an interesting question from Amilcar there. This is to Luciano. Why did you sell your company?
I'll go for it. Why did I sell it? So, I mean, it was a matter of taking a look at, what was available at the time and what I could achieve by my own. And it is a little humbling to be like, okay, I can't continue this without the help of somebody else, and I need to join forces with somebody else. It was just a matter of, it was a better circumstances. I looked at what I could do on my own and what I could do with this company that was acquiring us, a company called Observe.ai. And I thought, I think I can do more together. So that's why I decided to sell. I think it was a better choice. If not, I think I'd be too alone. Also, it gets lonely sometimes starting your own company. You feel like too much responsibility.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. You know, one of the pathways we have at our school is all about entrepreneurship. So, yeah, maybe, you know, some of our students will be the next students either starting their own companies or selling them or not. Who knows? Now, Jenny B, we got some great questions here. This is Jennifer Barrero Rodriguez, one of our past CSP students. Amazing work last year, Jenny B. I just got to say that. So she has two questions, and Andrew, maybe you can get the first try of this question. But do any of the companies you work for offer internships? I might even add for high schoolers, because you know we're working with high schoolers. And if not, what internships do you recommend for future coders, or just like other stuff that they could be working on? So, what do you think, Andrew?
So my company does not offer internships for high schoolers or even college students. We do have a program that is an apprenticeship program. So it's for recent college grads that may have little programming experience. So it's not expected that you have a CS degree, but you should be comfortable around, you know, code. And so this program is designed just to get people in the door. So you don't have years of experience, but you feel like it's something you're passionate about and something you want to do. It's a 4-month apprenticeship, and it's intended to lead to full-time employment after that. Besides internships that I know that there's some larger companies offer, I really would recommend going to, it's weird during COVID, but pre-COVID, there were a lot of hackathons, and these are things that are open to the public that any people of any age can join. These are generally in the civic, if you're not familiar, they're in the usually around public interest technology or civic tech, where there's a need that somebody has, and they gather people for 1 to 2 days to quickly solve it. And you learn a lot of good skills there. So Code for America is a place you can check out if you haven't heard of it. They often have a lot of resources for finding hackathons and good things happening.
Very cool, very cool. And I know sometimes that can be, I know a lot of our high schoolers are interested in getting internships right away. So there are definitely internships out there, and we'll look into that. And then again, you know, it just shows the importance of going to college. And I was just talking to some of our alumni the other day who are studying robotics engineering at UC Santa Cruz. So all, you know, they're going to be first in line for maybe those future internships you can get after college. So be thinking about that too. Luciano, do you have any thing you want to add on those questions about internships and what should recommendations for future coders?
I think there's so much coders in need, and I think obviously it is tricky when you're first learning, but there's a lot of, the community is really nice. If you email a lot of people asking for internships, asking to work, especially in the Bay Area, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. So trust me when I say that it's going to be, once you decide that you want to do this, there's so much support everywhere along the way. So we all know how hard it is. I mean, me and Andrew definitely know how hard it is. So it's respect every time someone joins the tribe. So you'll see that from every single software engineer that they're going to be looking out for you no matter what.
Great. We got time for one last question. Mr. Warnke's been getting all these good questions in here, so we gotta shout him out. I like this last one you put here, Dave. So Andrew, you can start on this one, and then we'll go to Luciano. What kind of coding or computer skills are companies looking for?
This is, I guess, obviously this is a complicated question. I can say there are a lot of jobs that are looking for broad sets of skills with programming. So just comfort learning very quickly. You understand the basics, data structures, you understand how code works, and you feel comfortable jumping into any language at any time that's necessary. So like a broad set of skills that is just signify that you're comfortable working in code. And I think within that, the actual, I guess it's a secret, but being able to work well with other people, having strong opinions about something, and being able to communicate those strong opinions in ways that isn't off-putting, that is respectful, but that also gets your point across and that allows for other people's opinions to be also considered. That is an incredible skill that a lot of companies, if they weren't in the past, now know and are taking very seriously. So being able to, it can be intimidating when you are putting your hard intellectual thoughts out there. And so it's a tricky thing to get comfortable putting yourself out there with how you think, and being able to do that and being able to respect other people's process of doing that is super important to companies.
Great. And Luciano, last word on this?
I think sometimes, and that specifically in terms of like skills, I think that sometimes people focus a lot on like, okay, and you know, you have all these languages. Do you know language? Are you looking for Java? Are you looking for this? But really, what you're going to learn is that it's kind of similar to Andrew's points. Like once you learn how to code, you know, you're good at learning. I think you don't have to worry about what specific skills. You just have to be. And part of learning to learn is not being intimidated, to be honest, is being confident that you can tackle it. And so nowadays, I feel so confident that if anyone throws anything at me coding related, I might not know the language, but I do have confidence in myself that I know how to Google around, I know how to read, I know how to sit down and try. I'm not scared to try a couple of things and fail. And once you learn those skills, really, you'll be empowered to do anything, no matter what language it is. You'll feel pretty learn how to learn. Yeah, that's really the way. And it's specifically around coding because yes, it is a little bit like it's like learning. It's like, you know how some people will learn one language, two languages, but then they just like learn 10 languages. It's like once you pick up how to learn a language, the regular language like French, then you're like anything's possible. And so that's the attitude that you want to pick up, and that's what you should really focus on.
Nice. Thank you again. Let's if you want to throw up one last what do you do? The reactions, that would be great. Again, our guest speakers are great. If you have other questions, maybe they'll stick around, or if you're interested, I can definitely forward some contact information and make some connections between students and our guest speakers. Amazing. Thank you again, folks. But of course, like I said, this isn't the half hour of code, it's the hour of code. So let's get down to business. It's time to code. So we kind of have a menu of code here. And what these are little self-guided activities, interactive, that I'm going to put a link in the chat, and you can just get working on it, and we'll come back like 5 minutes before the end of the hour, and you'll be all good, okay? So let me just describe them real quick. There's Dance Party. Dance Party, some of you might have even done this before, either in a past class of mine, or it's kind of a classic hour of code activity. If you haven't done it, it's very cool. It's very visual. It'll teach you the basics of coding, and it's great. Another one for this year is AI for Oceans, AI, artificial intelligence. And it also talks about like how we can use artificial intelligence for good, which I think is really important for cleaning up oceans. So those ones are like very user-friendly. If you have never coded before, or if you have, they're both great. If you've done a fair amount of coding before and you're interested in data visualizations, that's something that Andrew talked about a lot, right? You could click, you could do this one, okay? And if none of those interest you for some whatever weird reason, or if you finish early, I'll give you the link to all the other activities there as well, okay? So let me start putting these in the chat for everyone to see. Yeah, Miss Black's a big fan of Dance Party. Just give me 1 second to get these in the chat all set up. There's Dance Party. There's AI for Oceans. There's coding with data visualizations. And then there's more. All right. So I think we'll all stick here. In one world, we might go out to breakout rooms, but I think we'll all stick here. I'll play some music. If you have questions, feel free to come off mute and just like ask. or chat, put in the chat. And maybe we'll have some people even share what they have, 5 minutes before noontime, okay? Sound good? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Woohoo!
Woo! Let's do some coding.
Hey, hey, hey. Good to see you. Come on in, let's go. Yeah! Let's go! All right, okay. All right, okay. All right, okay. Return to the Mac. Get up what it is, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. Looking for a better way to get up out of bed instead of getting on the internet and checking a new hit. Me get up. First shot, come strut walking. A little bit of humble, a little bit of cautious. Somewhere between like Rocky and Cosby's for the game. Nope, y'all can't copy yet. Glad moonwalking, and this here is our party. My posse's been on Broadway, and we did it all way. Chrome music. I shed my skin and put my bones into everything I record to it. And yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, Miss Albright, I was thinking about that. There are videos, so I'm gonna turn off the music, but great call. But yeah, we'll all come back at 11:55, okay? Thanks, Miss Albright.
Hey, Mr. Weber, could you just repeat back that last instruction? I'm sorry, I was getting ready for the dance party. Are we in
I was just saying that I was gonna stop the music because it's tough to watch the videos if I'm playing music.
Sorry.
Good.
Good. All right.
All good though.
Thank you.
If anyone's in the statistics class, it looks like Miss Black put a message for you in the chat there. Mr. Warnke, do you want to do a quick screen share to show your MC Hammer can't touch this? Yeah, let me, I'll stop sharing. I think do you have, can you share your screen or no? There we go. Yeah, hit run, I think.
Can you hear this?
Can't touch this. Touch this.
I did that. Look at that.
I love that.
I'm old and slow, and I did that. Now it's your turn.
For anybody, Mr. Markey, hit the X real quick, and I just want to show everyone who's maybe watching. Yeah, click the X, just so we can see your level again. Don't hit click. Don't not that X. The X where yeah.
No, that one. Okay, what one? Now I'm really confused.
click that. Yeah, and then yep.
Good.
And then let's.
What
I
happened?
want to show everyone.
Break it.
Click the purple X again.
Okay, hold on. Purple box. Okay.
Purple X.
Purple X.
More to the right. Yep.
Got that.
Yep. There we go. And then for everyone, if you're interested, click. Do you see show code on the far right? You were just over there. You might need to scroll over to the right. Yep. You see where it says show code? So if you're interested, most of this coding is done in block-based coding, which might seem kind of like middle school-ish, but it's not actually. In a way, this is how I started learning coding. This is how a lot of people start learning coding. And you know, once you're really fancy, and Jenny B can tell you more about this, but eventually maybe you decide it's a little bit easier to type the code than dragging the blocks in. But so when you're ready for typing it, essentially the code that you're writing right now with the blocks kind of looks like that. So if you're curious about how it looks to the computer, that's kind of how it looks. So you can just hit that show code button if you're interested in that.
Cool.
Nice work though, Mr. Warnke.
Thank you. I challenge all of my advisory students to a dance battle, not physically, but like through coding. We do this later, but I see you. I don't want to call you out publicly, but you've just been called out publicly. So
is anybody gonna raise Mr. Warnke? Is Alvaro one of your advisees?
Yeah, we got a bunch of Marbelli, Alvaro, Quinvy. Who else is here? Oscar.
Yeah, who out there is gonna beat Mr. Warnke in the virtual coding dance battle? And if you're not doing the dance party one, that's fine too, right? Anyone doing the AI one? AI one's cool. I don't know.
I did the AI.
Who is that, Oscar?
Could you show us or share?
Oh, yeah. Let me just go on again because I left it because it started to annoy me.
Oh, Miss Nelson has a dance party. Can we see what you put in the chit chat or something? Starting a trend.
Share my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
All right. This is my first time. Y'all don't judge it.
Ooh, this looks great.
1, 2, 3, my baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure.
Win.
All right.
Yeah, so
on.
that wow sound means
something.
What does it say? Only one of your dancers move.
Oh,
I think it's only because you didn't touch. Did you figure it out?
Hold on. So bears is up. They get the body roll. Down is the sloth. Bear, sloth. No. What did I do wrong?
I think your code is great. I think the only reason it didn't say you passed is because you probably didn't hit both up and down. when you're playing it. So try it again and just make sure you hit both the up and the down.
Okay, let's try it again.
1, 2, 3, my baby don't mess around because she loves me so.
Yeah, it looks like the most.
Yay! There we go.
So, and again, this is, yeah, the when operator, or when conditional, like when something happens. And again, students who've taken computer science in the past could tell you more about this. That's a thing we use a lot just to make the program a little more interactive. So like when the user hits this button, your program does this. Anyone else want to join the dance battle? Or yeah, the dance party.
I can share my.
Yes, Quinn, you got something?
Oh, does Jennifer want to go first?
Wait, sorry. Oh, hey, Miss Summer.
Hey.
Ooh, we got a lot of people coming in. I saw Quinn V first, so I wanna, yeah, Quinn V.
Okay, share my thing.
Okay. Ooh, wow, you got a lot of code there. Nice. Oh, wow. So I like how you made it so like when you specifically hit a different key, they all did like a different combined dance move. That was nice. Was that what you're going for, Quincy?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So I see people, you might want to keep going. I'm actually going to start to bring us all back together because we're running out of time here, and I'm sure people maybe some people want to keep coding. That's great. But, also if you need to move on to your next thing today, I want to be respectful of that too. So if you want to pause your dance party, or you're cleaning up the ocean with AI, or, just open up those links if you're interested in more. And I also saw, Jenny B said she was still working on hers. I'm going to email everyone after this with a couple like reminders and cool stuff. So you could I think there's a way to share. Is there a way to share? I'll try and show y'all how you can share these, so that we can kind of share your projects after if you want. But anyways, hopefully you're with me again. Just pause your dance party if you can. I know it might be addicting once you get started. But hopefully, today you learned a little bit about something about coding, or computer science, or artificial intelligence, which I think is awesome. And I just wanted to wrap up real quick in the chat. Maybe you could everyone can try to answer these two questions, or one of the two questions. That's all right. I love it. Yeah, that'd be cool. So what have you learned about computer science or technology today? And another question, again, thinking about like, what do you do when you like run into problems? And again, this idea of learning to learn, love how that came up earlier. What did you do when you ran into a problem? How did you solve it? Is another thing I want us to be thinking about today. So if everyone wants to take like a quick minute or so to put their answers in the chat, that would be awesome. I'll keep playing some music while you write up your answers there. Nice. Nice.
Shine on down, got that Bob Barker suit game.
It's our party, we can do what we want. It's our party, we can say what we want.
It's our party, we can love who we want, we can kiss who we want, we can screw who we want. It's our party, we can do what we want. It's our party, we can say what we want. It's our party, we can love who we want, we can kiss who we want, we can screw who we want.
Red cousins, sweaty bodies everywhere. Hands in the air like we don't care. Cause we came to have so much fun now. Got somebody here.
A lot of nice stuff coming in here in the chat. Love it, Alvaro. It's something you can do. You just need to start learning. Yeah, learning to learn, right? Wow, there's so many great answers here in the chat. So if everyone wants just to look at that. Open source was something that was very interesting. Yep. Referencing back to the previous code, instructional videos. The light bulb, the thing for the hint, once you get past this level of hour of code, that's what Luciano was mentioning earlier, just about the, you know, being a professional Googler, right? Google is like the light bulb of the real world. Some really nice stuff here. Yep. And whenever somebody says Java, you're like, I've done that. Yeah, the main language we use in AP Computer Science is JavaScript, which is a little bit different than Java. It's kind of the same thing though. And that's, I believe the language we were using today was JavaScript. It might have been Java though. I'm not sure. Man, there's so much good stuff here. I'm sorry that I can't read it all. Numbers aren't boring. I love it, Fatima. And if I ran into a problem, I read the directions carefully. Everyone can learn how to code. Code is, and it will be very important. Yep. Solving the puzzle, and they're nice. Okay. Mr. Warnke, interesting question. What is the most common code language? You know, one that's really big these days is Python because it's pretty easy to use and it has a lot to do with a lot of people doing data analysis. I think Andrew had to leave, but he might have mentioned that. JavaScript is like a classic one to learn, but yeah, those are some ones I mentioned. C is another one that was one of the first languages I learned back when I took my first class. Well, folks, it is 3:01. I do want to get you off on your day, but congratulations. You guys, y'all were like amazing work. I'm going to send out certificates to everyone who was here today. So get ready. Here's a preview of what it might look like. And just thank you so much, folks. It's Computer Science Education Week. So if you go out there on the internet, you'll find a lot of different things that will help you keep coding. Like if you finish your dance party thing, I think there's a bunch more options of different things you can learn. If you haven't taken AP Computer Science and you're interested and you're not enrolled this year, come talk to me and get enrolled for next year. And, you know, just consider it for, you know, your major when you go off into, you know, college or, you know, community college. Yeah. One last video for today, okay? And then we'll end it.
We learned a lot in 2020. A lot.
Like how to navigate video meetings. And that PJ bottoms can count as a school uniform.
We learned new words and phrases.
Like social distance.
And essential workers.
We learned it's okay to feel lonely sometimes.
Or tired.
Or discouraged. We've learned that injustice persists.
But so do heroes. And that more than ever, we're all connected.
But the digital divide is as wide as it has ever been.
We've learned that to build the future that we want, computer science is more important than ever.
So we keep learning.
We learn computer science to predict forest fires and earthquakes.
And to help design vaccines that fight disease. We learn computer science to connect with each other.
To make art and music. We learn computer science to make sure no one gets left behind.
Because building a brighter future will take all of us.
Hey, this is Hill Harper, and whether you're in the classroom or learning from home, doing an hour of code is a great way to learn computer science. Right, Pierce? Hour of code! Yeah!
All right, folks.